Yo, daddy don't care about you or me. He paying another woman's kids' bills instead of yo. He a cheater and a liar.
I don't know what that means. I'm 5 years old, but now I hate my dad, and I'm not going to talk to him until I'm way older.
Yo, daddy here.
Hey, son.
Oh, hey.
Son, why do you always act like that when I come over? I love you,
Mom said
little
you
nigga.
never helped her when I was growing up. She really needed it.
Boy, I gave your mama $4,000 a week.
$4,000 a week?
Sit down and let's have a talk.
We divorced because of your mom's jealousy.
She said you cheated.
Exactly. That's why she was jealous. Honestly, son, we couldn't stop arguing. I wanted to make it work. I lost my money. She divorced me. See you, son. Learn from my mistakes.
Mom, you said dad never helped you, and he just told me he helped you this whole time.
Oh, what? You mean that little $4,000 a week? That ain't
I didn't talk to him for 12 years, and I hated him.
Son, I've never said anything bad about your dad. I only told you what he did to me, nigger.
I don't really know if this is my last time, but what I know is I'm feeling just fine. My life is like a rap carpet, and I'm feeling like the richest millionaire. This is my local mayor, and I'm the biggest star around here.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, you see the clip. I thought about this. It's a funnier way because of the Kirk Franklin situation that's viral too. But the boy in the clip, he an old young dude. He an old 5, 12, 17-year-old. Hilarious. But the story is the same. You know, Kirk Franklin had the same thing. Like I saw when he got the DNA test, one of the things he said initially in the beginning was, I hated my father his whole life, basically. And he died, and I treated him in this way that I hated him. And now that he's dead, I realized that he wasn't my dad. He didn't even deserve that treatment. He went to his grave with Kirk Franklin's animosity, and Kirk had to find out, you know, that ain't even your dad. You had the animosity for the wrong person. And then he had the situation with his mom, and his mom was like, I don't believe in a DNA test. I don't believe that's a real test. He got another one. The other guy was actually his father, and then she's like, I don't believe it, whatever. And part of that, you know, and as a father, I've been through that. I'm going through that now. You know, that teaching the hatred at a young age. I've been a kid who was taught, you know, the disdain and dislike for my father. You know, luckily, you know, my grandmother was kind of standing in the gap. You know, my both of my grandmothers, but my father's mother, she was standing in the gap because she was such a cool person that, you know, I'm like, listen, I definitely gotta get to the truth. So I was willing to actually not take one side because of that relationship. But a lot of these issues that a lot of young men and women are having, a lot of these daddy issues really come from being programmed at a young age. See, some of y'all don't remember being programmed. Y'all were so young. Y'all don't remember the hatred so young. I'm gonna run it down to you, and even like I said, I'm going through it now, but it is what it is. I remember, I think I told the story before, but I remember having my son at an early age, right? Had him here. I was supposed to, you know, got him ready for school, supposed to put him in school. Mama came to pick him up for the summer. I ain't see him no more, right? For like a year or some change, because, you know, she didn't want to, she wanted me to have him, but she didn't want me to have custody per se, right? But in that process, it was the creating the animosity with me and my son. Like, I remember my son got mad at me. He was like, my mama told me you was coming to pick me up for Christmas and you never came. And I was like, I never told your mama I was coming to pick you up for Christmas. I never told her that. But he was mad about that. Like those subsequent summers, it was the he coming. I was like, okay. Then the subsequent crying and And I could hear the conversation. I'm on the phone. You gotta go. He's your daddy. You gotta be with your daddy. It's okay. Then he'd get here and he'd be like, my mama told me I only gotta be with you for a certain amount of time. So I'm gonna just get out, do this little time, and get out of here because I don't want to be here. I like my mother more than I like you. And it's like, yeah. And see that, and he may not remember that, but it was every year. You get what I'm saying? So by the time 12 to 15 hit, it's on autopilot. And sometimes the worst part of that is that once these kids have been given that indoctrination, and once they run with it on their own, Dad, you're gonna become an enemy to the point where you're just a person to use. I'm going to just act like I love him to get this, and then when I get it, F that mother, and then, then I'm going to do it again until Dad says, nah, no, we're not doing this no more. And then you're the ultimate enemy, because one of the things that women like, mothers like that teach is entitlement. So some of these kids actually are out of pocket, but they believe that they're owed from their father because of whatever their mother has instilled in them. So they actually dead wrong, but acting like I can do this because, I don't like you because you're this and you're that. And they probably don't even know you. Or they do know you, but they don't believe you're you. They believe it's a hidden evil. So they've got to always be on guard and create situations, trying to control a situation. And you just looking at a child like you out of your mind. But the ultimate comes in what the young man was saying later on. I never told you I never told you to hate him. I just told you what he did to me. And it's like, even as a kid, I remember those scenarios, even with my own mother, where she'd tell me something and then I follow it. I'm like, I go down that path and I'm like, but you told me da. But I ain't tell you to do all that. You chose to do that on your own. So it's like, oh, you sent me out on a dummy mission. Oh, that's what this is. Okay. Well, I ain't nobody told you to act like that and do that and do this and do that. Like, oh, okay. You just sowed all the seeds of hate and animosity, and when they just bloomed and sprouted of the tree of revenge, the fruit of the tree of revenge, you're gonna act like I don't know what happened. I don't know where this came from, which ultimately, created another issue. And the money thing was hilarious. Like $4,000 a week. Now everybody know that's a stretch. That's a stretch. But the money conversation sometimes does have to come up, because even with child support, the kids, you never did this, you never did that. Some of y'all, what y'all gonna have to do, some of y'all gonna, when the child support stuff is over, what y'all gonna really have to do is write it down, or it's all been paid. Add that up. Add that up. Think about that. Add that up. Let's just say a person pays $700. Let's just say total $700 for 18 years. Kid will tell you never did nothing for me. Like, what's 700? What's 700 times 12 times 18? And they be like, what? I mean, you just give it a take. I'm just starting from scratch. 700 times 12 times 18. So, some of y'all don't know, that's 8,400, right? 8,400 a year. Right? So 8,400, 10 years would be 84,000, right? 18 years would be what? It's 100 and it'll be 168 minus 16. So basically $150,000. $150,000. Hey, $150,000. What? No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. Now, because we've had these conversations as kids, as adults. Like, I should have money for school. I should have money for college. I should have money for the car. Where all this money going? And then you gonna get that speech. I had to pay rent. I had to buy my car. I had to put food on the table. I had to take care of you. And a lot of that is BS. Because, when you become an adult and you realize that if you're the person paying the child support, you start realizing that the things you could have bought with that extra money, if you had custody of the kid, you realize how bad and silly custodial parents are with money. Because $150,000 could buy a house. Could have bought a house, a whole house, just $150,000, just that house. It's $150,000. Not to mention those people get tax breaks. So you got to add another, let's just say 50,000 of that. So that's 200. You just said it like 200. See what I'm saying? Not to mention gifts, holidays, birthdays, not to mention all that. So you can add on to that. So what you see is a society of people who don't grasp anything until it's too late. And that happens. That happens. So this is where, to me, the wedge and the animosity comes with kids and parents. Because I saw a lot of this falling apart when people were in college. And then it was like, oh, that's what you was doing. That's what that is. I saw it as an adult when people would talk to their fathers and be like, oh, that's what happened that time. That's how that, oh, okay. Then they go back to mom, and mom play either crying or play angry and stupid. And it's like, now you realize who was the bad guy the whole time. But it's too late. And I've seen a lot of people use predominantly mothers use the kid as a pawn or thing to control the situation, and then say when a certain age hit and that last child support check hits, there's no more game to play and control to play, and then they try to be friends and they get cussed out for the rest of their life. I've seen them, kids 20, 25, 30, how your daddy doing? And the kid like, when you care about, why you care about my daddy all of a sudden? You done told me he wasn't ish my whole life, and now all of a sudden you been asking how he doing all the time. What is this? But I'm going to leave that alone. So you tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night, I gave you everything I had.